My post to stay. I need help right now. I'm stuck and it's getting dark.
Hold on, I'll fix this for you. You'll be moving again soon.
Thank you.
In a small town in Ohio, 19-year-old Emily struggles with life in a wheelchair after a devastating accident. One rainy afternoon, her chair breaks down, leaving her stranded and frightened. Just when hope seems lost, a 25-year-old mechanic named Jake arrives, ready to fix her wheelchair, and in the process, change her life forever. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's get started. Emily had always been an energetic and independent 19-year-old, the kind of girl who thrived on college life in her small Ohio town, attending classes, hanging out with friends, and exploring the quiet streets near her campus on sunny afternoons. But everything changed one fateful winter evening when a reckless driver ran a red light, hitting her car and leaving her with severe spinal injuries. The accident wasn't just physically painful, it stripped her of her independence almost overnight. Once a vibrant, confident young woman, Emily now found herself confined to a wheelchair, relying on her parents for even the smallest tasks, from getting dressed to moving from one room to another. She had struggled silently through the months of rehabilitation, enduring endless physical therapy sessions that left her exhausted and frustrated. And while her family tried to stay positive, she often felt isolated, trapped inside her own body and her own thoughts. On a particularly rainy afternoon, Emily decided to attempt a small venture outside her home, determined to reclaim a tiny sense of freedom she had been missing. She had carefully planned a short trip to the nearby grocery store, hoping the fresh air and simple task might lift her spirits. Unfortunately, as she wheeled herself toward the front door, she noticed that one of the wheels on her wheelchair had begun wobbling alarmingly. Panic crept in as she realized the chair might not make it all the way to the store safely. The rain intensified, splattering against the sidewalk and soaking her jacket as she struggled to maintain balance. She tried to push forward, but the chair jolted violently, refusing to roll smoothly. Frustration and fear swelled inside her, tears threatening to spill. Emily's mind raced. How could she possibly fix this on her own? Her wheelchair was not just a convenience. It was her lifeline, her only means of mobility. And now it was failing her at the worst possible moment. She fumbled for her phone, fingers shaking, and called the local repair service her physical therapist had recommended. While she waited for help, she tried to remain calm, reminding herself that panicking wouldn't solve anything, though each minute in the rain made her increasingly uncomfortable and anxious. As the minutes dragged on, a faint sound of a truck engine approached, and Emily's heart leapt. A pickup truck pulled up nearby, its tires splashing puddles on the wet pavement. The driver's side door opened, and a young man stepped out. He looked around 25, wearing grease-stained jeans and a faded workshirt, with calloused hands that suggested years of hard labor. His eyes scanned the scene with a mix of concern and focus, landing on Emily and her struggling wheelchair. Without hesitation he approached, his gait purposeful but gentle, kneeling beside her chair to examine the damage. "Hey there, don't worry," he said in a calm, reassuring voice. "I'll take care of it. We'll have you rolling again in no time." Emily blinked, surprised by the stranger's confidence and warmth. There was something about him that immediately put her at ease, a combination of professionalism, kindness, and a non-judgmental attitude that made her feel less like a helpless burden and more like a person in need of help. She explained what had happened, her voice trembling slightly, describing how the wheel had started to wobble and how she feared going any farther. The mechanic listened carefully, nodding and asking questions in a patient tone, showing genuine interest in understanding the problem fully before rushing into any solution. He introduced himself as Jake, a local mechanic who specialized in vehicles and mobility devices alike, and reassured Emily that he had seen similar issues countless times. As he inspected the wheelchair, his hands moving with skilled precision, Emily noticed how methodical and careful he was. He checked each component, testing the wheels, the frame, and the joints, occasionally jotting down notes in a small notebook he carried. Emily marveled at his attention to detail. Every action he took seemed deliberate, calculated, and thorough. For the first time in months, she felt a flicker of hope. The rain continued to pour, but she hardly noticed it anymore. She found herself talking to Jake as he worked, sharing small snippets of her life. How the accident had changed everything, how lonely she had felt, how desperately she missed being independent. Jake listened intently, offering empathy without pity, a rare combination that made her feel understood. As he adjusted the wheel, tightened bolts, and tested the brakes, he explained what he was doing in simple terms, making Emily feel included in the process rather than sidelined. It wasn't just the repair, it was the human connection that mattered most. Hours seemed to pass in what felt like minutes, the mundane sounds of rain and distant traffic fading into the background as Emily focused on the meticulous care Jake was giving her wheelchair. Each adjustment he made restored a little more of the chair's stability, and with it, a little more of her confidence. When he finally stepped back, wiping his hands on a rag, he looked at her and said, "Try it now." Emily hesitated for only a moment before slowly pushing the chair forward. The difference was immediate. The chair rolled smoothly, the wheels steady and reliable, and for the first time in months, Emily felt a sense of freedom returning. Tears welled up in her eyes, not from fear or frustration, but from relief and gratitude. She looked at Jake, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness of this stranger who had walked into her life at precisely the right moment. His smile was quiet, unassuming, but it carried a weight that made her feel safe. In that rainy afternoon in Ohio, Emily realized something profound. Sometimes, help comes from the most unexpected places, and the smallest acts of kindness can shift the course of a person's day, or even their life. The experience left her not just with a fixed wheelchair, but with a renewed sense of hope, a reminder that human connection and compassion could exist even in moments of vulnerability. And as she wheeled herself toward home, feeling the smooth motion beneath her, she silently promised herself that she would carry this lesson forward, cherishing both her regained independence and the rare, transformative kindness of a stranger who had taken the time to truly care. Once Emily's wheelchair was stabilized, she found herself cautiously observing Jake as he began the more intricate work of repairing and improving the chair. He had already earned her trust, and now she felt a mixture of curiosity and anticipation, wondering how much better he could make the wheelchair feel. Jake explained each step he planned to take, describing the worn bearings, the loosened frame, and the uneven tension in the wheel joints. He showed Emily a small set of tools he had brought in the bed of his pickup, each one neatly arranged, and she was impressed by his preparedness and professionalism. As he worked, he shared bits of his own life story, how he had grown up in the town, the years he had spent learning the trade from his father, and the satisfaction he felt when he could fix something that others had deemed impossible. Emily found herself laughing at some of his anecdotes, forgetting for a moment the pain and frustration that had weighed on her for so long. There was a rhythm to his movements that was almost mesmerizing. He checked each wheel, tightened every bolt, and meticulously ensured that the chair's frame was reinforced in all the right places. When he noticed a small crack near one of the joints, he didn't just patch it, he reinforced the area with a stronger material, explaining why it would make the chair more durable and stable. Emily watched him work with fascination, noticing how patient he was, how much care he took to ensure that nothing was rushed or overlooked. Occasionally, he would ask her to try rolling the chair a few inches, testing each adjustment, and she was amazed at the gradual transformation. The chair that had wobbled precariously moments before now felt sturdy and responsive, almost like a brand new vehicle designed specifically for her needs. While Jake worked, Emily opened up more about her life, sharing her fears, frustrations, and dreams. She spoke about how isolating the past months had been, how she had felt invisible at times, and how difficult it was to accept help from others. Jake listened attentively, never interrupting, occasionally offering gentle encouragement or advice, but mostly just providing a steady presence that made her feel understood. At one point, he leaned back and said, "You know, Emily, it's not just about fixing this chair. It's about making sure you feel capable, safe, and confident again. That's just as important as any repair." His words struck a chord, and Emily realized that his approach wasn't just mechanical. It was profoundly human. Hours passed in a seamless blur of movement, conversation, and problem-solving. The rain outside had slowed to a drizzle, and the sun peeked through clouds, casting a soft light over the driveway where they worked. By the time Jake finally stood upright, stretching his tired arms, the wheelchair was no longer just functional. It was enhanced in ways Emily hadn't even imagined possible. Smooth
He had
pavement
adjusted
and
the
uneven
wheels for
surfaces.
smoother motion,
The chair responded to her
reinforced the
commands
frame,
with precision
and added subtle
each movement
modifications
fluid and
to
effortless.
improve maneuverability
Emily tested
on
the
both.
brakes and the steering, her eyes widening with astonishment. I can't believe it," she whispered, a mixture of disbelief and gratitude in her voice. Jake smiled modestly, wiping his hands on a rag and shrugging as if it were no big deal. "Just doing my job," he said, though the pride in his expression betrayed the modesty. As Emily wheeled herself around in small circles, testing every function, she felt something deeper than physical relief. She felt a resurgence of independence, the first real sense of control she had experienced in months. She realized that the chair was not just a tool, but a symbol of possibility, a reminder that her life didn't have to be defined by limitations. Over the next hour, they continued fine-tuning the chair, making small adjustments and experimenting with different seating positions to maximize comfort and efficiency. Jake explained the importance of posture, how subtle shifts could reduce strain and make movement easier. Emily listened carefully, absorbing every detail, feeling more empowered with each passing moment. Conversation flowed effortlessly between them. Jake asked about her studies, her favorite hobbies, and her plans for the future. Emily shared her love for painting and writing, activities she had struggled to pursue while immobilized. Jake encouraged her to return to her passions, offering suggestions for adaptive methods that could make her hobbies more accessible. She felt a warmth in her chest, a combination of relief, hope, and something unspoken that went beyond gratitude. By the time they finished, Emily's wheelchair was no longer merely a repaired device. It was a symbol of restored freedom, tailored to her needs, and infused with the care of someone who had gone above and beyond. She wheeled herself forward, testing the improvements with tentative excitement, then gradually increasing her speed, marveling at the smoothness and control. Tears welled up in her eyes, a mix of joy and disbelief, and she looked at Jake, speechless for a moment. He simply nodded, smiling gently, giving her the space to process her emotions. "You've got this, Emily," he said softly. "It's all yours now." In that quiet driveway, amidst the soft patter of rain and the faint smell of damp earth, Emily felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She realized that this encounter had given her more than just a functional wheelchair. It had given her confidence, a renewed sense of autonomy, and a glimpse of hope she hadn't felt since before the accident. Over the next few days, Emily practiced navigating her neighborhood, testing the chair's new abilities, and gradually regaining a sense of freedom she thought she had lost forever. She discovered that simple tasks, rolling to the corner store, maneuvering around obstacles, or even enjoying the feel of fresh air while moving, had become sources of empowerment rather than frustration. Each movement reminded her of Jake's patience, skill, and genuine kindness. She began sharing her experience with friends and family, emphasizing not just the technical repair, but the emotional impact of someone taking the time to care. Emily realized that Jake's actions had created a ripple effect, transforming her perception of independence, human connection, and the importance of empathy. What began as a simple mechanical repair had turned into a life-changing experience, instilling in Emily a newfound belief in herself and the goodness that people are capable of offering. In reflecting on that day, she understood that the small, thoughtful gestures of strangers can sometimes create profound, lasting changes, and she vowed to carry that lesson forward in her own life. With every turn of her wheelchair wheels, Emily felt strength returning, not just in her body, but in her spirit. Emboldened by the experience and the unexpected kindness of a young mechanic named Jake. When Jake finally stepped back, Emily tentatively wheeled herself forward, testing the wheelchair's enhanced functionality with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Each movement was smooth, precise, and effortless, and she felt a profound sense of freedom returning for the first time in months. The chair responded perfectly to her slightest command, its reinforced frame and improved wheels giving her confidence she had not thought possible. A rush of emotions overcame her, relief, gratitude, and even a touch of exhilaration as she realized she could once again navigate her world independently. Tears blurred her vision as she looked up at Jake, silently acknowledging the life-changing effort he had put into helping her. He smiled quietly, giving her space to experience the moment fully, yet his presence remained a reassuring anchor nearby. Emily began to explore the driveway, gradually moving to the sidewalk, maneuvering around puddles and uneven pavement, discovering the chair's capabilities and how much smoother it had become. She felt a mixture of joy and awe. After months of frustration and limitation, she could finally move without fear or hesitation. The experience sparked a new sense of determination in her, a reminder that she was not defined by her accident, but by her resilience and ability to embrace the opportunities life still offered. Over the following days, Emily ventured further, gradually rebuilding her confidence and reclaiming her independence. She began visiting local parks, slowly rolling along familiar paths she had not seen in months, feeling the breeze on her face and the thrill of motion beneath her. Each outing was a small victory, each movement a testament to her perseverance and Jake's careful, skilled work. Friends and family noticed the change in her demeanor, the renewed energy, the spark of hope in her eyes, and the determination that had been missing since the accident. Emily shared her story, emphasizing not only the technical repair of her wheelchair, but the profound impact of kindness, patience, and empathy. She realized that Jake had given her more than just a functional device. He had restored a piece of her spirit, showing her that unexpected acts of care could transform someone's life. Their friendship deepened as well, built on trust, gratitude, and shared moments of laughter and conversation. Emily came to value Jake not only as a helper, but as a mentor and confidant, someone whose support had guided her back to a sense of normalcy and self-assurance. As weeks passed, she began engaging in activities she had missed, attending college classes independently, painting in the park, and even visiting nearby cafes, enjoying the freedom to move and explore her surroundings. Each day, the wheelchair became an extension of her, a tool not only for mobility, but for self-expression and empowerment. She marveled at how a single encounter, a chance meeting with a compassionate stranger, could create a ripple effect that influenced so many aspects of her life. Jake continued to check in, offering advice on maintenance and adjustments, but he also became a supportive presence, encouraging her to embrace new experiences and challenges. Emily felt a growing sense of responsibility to honor the kindness she had received, understanding that empathy and compassion could have life-changing consequences. She began volunteering at local organizations, sharing her story with other young people facing physical challenges, hoping to inspire them to persevere and seek the support they needed. The lessons she had learned went beyond mobility. They encompassed resilience, the importance of human connection, and the transformative power of patience and understanding. Emily found herself reflecting on that rainy afternoon when her wheelchair had first broken down, recognizing it as the turning point that set her journey in motion. She had gone from despair and fear to renewed independence and hope, a change made possible by someone who saw her not as a burden, but as a person worthy of care and attention. The impact of that single act of kindness resonated in every aspect of her life, shaping her attitude, choices, and interactions with others. She learned to approach challenges with determination, to trust in her own capabilities, and to appreciate the significance of even the smallest gestures of compassion. Jake's role in her journey remained a source of gratitude and inspiration. Emily often thought about the meticulous care he had shown, the patience in his explanations, and the genuine concern in his demeanor. It reminded her that the world still contained people willing to go above and beyond to help others, and that such actions could instill hope and courage where it was most needed. The relationship they developed, built on mutual respect and understanding, exemplified the profound impact of kindness. It was a bond that transcended the initial circumstances, extending into a genuine friendship grounded in shared experiences, trust, and mutual support. Emily embraced her regained mobility as more than a convenience. It became a symbol of perseverance, resilience, and the possibilities that life still held. Every time she navigated her neighborhood, ventured to the park, or wheeled herself to campus, she felt a sense of accomplishment and empowerment. The wheelchair, once a reminder of limitation, had transformed into a vehicle of freedom and self-confidence, infused with the care and dedication of someone who had truly listened, understood, and acted with compassion. Reflecting on the journey, Emily realized that the experience had changed her not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. She had learned to trust others, to accept help without shame, and to recognize the importance of community and connection. It was a lesson in humility, gratitude, and the power of human kindness to heal not only physical challenges but emotional wounds as well. Over time, Emily became an advocate for accessibility and support for individuals with mobility challenges, inspired by her own journey and the impact one person could have. She shared her story at local events, in classrooms, and with peers, emphasizing the significance of empathy, patience, and understanding in fostering meaningful change. Her life became a testament to the idea that even small acts of care could ripple outward, influencing not only the immediate recipient, but the broader community. Through her regained independence, Emily experienced a renewed zest for life. She explored hobbies she had put aside, reconnected with friends, and participated in social activities with a confidence that had seemed impossible months earlier. Her wheelchair, enhanced and improved, became a symbol of resilience, a daily reminder that challenges could be overcome, and that support, when offered sincerely, could change lives. Emily's bond with Jake deepened, founded on shared respect, gratitude, and admiration. He remained a quiet, steady presence, offering guidance, encouragement, and friendship without expectation. She came to see him not just as the mechanic who repaired her wheelchair, but as a pivotal figure in her journey of recovery and self-discovery. In the end, Emily realized that what began as a simple mechanical problem had evolved into something far more profound, a story of connection, hope, and the transformative power of compassion. She understood that life's challenges, no matter how overwhelming, could be met with courage and resilience when supported by genuine kindness. Every time she rolled forward, feeling the smooth, responsive motion beneath her, she carried with her the memory of that rainy afternoon, the skillful hands of a young mechanic, and the lessons in empathy and perseverance that would guide her for the rest of her life. In reclaiming her independence, Emily had not only restored mobility, but had also rediscovered the beauty of human connection, the importance of trust, and the enduring power of hope. Her journey, marked by pain, struggle, and eventual triumph, stood as a testament to the idea that kindness, skill, and compassion could intersect to create profound, lasting change. And with every turn of her wheelchair's wheels, she moved forward, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, emboldened by the knowledge that support and empathy could illuminate even the darkest moments, transforming them into opportunities for growth, confidence, and the celebration of life itself.